Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I am talking about the most important relationship you will ever have in your entire life. And I know you think I'm going to say yourself, which is true, but I'm actually going to say something else. So stick around. Thank you for being here, and I just want to start by saying thank you so much to all of the new subscribers and to all of you who watch my videos and comment. It just makes the making of these videos even more enjoyable, and I'm finding myself just loving this process even more and more and getting to know some of you even more and more. And the whole process is just awesome. The feedback is really appreciated. So thank you so much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hedley Derenzie, and I am a qualified life coach and author. And I am super passionate about these amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the great American mystic Neville Goddard. It is the stories that we tell that create our life. So if you want to change your life, then you need to change the stories. And if you want to create the most amazing life, then you need to know how to tell the most amazing stories. And that is why I am here. I want to help you to tell more amazing stories. That's what I'm doing in my life, and it's awesome. So I want to help you to do the same. If you would like further support with this, I am available for coaching. Or if you would like to download my free 21-day set yourself up with the ultimate self-concept course, that is available for instant access. Or if you just want to stay connected, I am on Instagram. All of those details are in the comments box below. Check that out. Okay, let's get into it. So today I am talking about the most important relationship that you want to be nurturing and nourishing and paying attention to and loving in your life. I know you think I'm going to say yourself, it is, but really the most important relationship that you want to be cultivating in your life is the relationship you have to your imagination. This is your most important relationship because you are imagination. You are God. God is imagination. If only we knew that a long time ago, that God is imagination and you are imagination, and how you use your imagination will determine the quality of the reality that you experience. Reality is certainly an interesting process, an interesting experience. It's not always favorable. There are some difficult moments in reality. And of course, that's the whole point. We have come to figure out and find out and experience who it is that we are, which is God. And we can't do that if we don't have contrast. So reality and the throwing up of all the problems and the challenges and the obstacles, we actually set those up so that we can overcome them and we can find out and experience who it is that we are. And we are more powerful than we can possibly imagine. I mean, we do imagine it, but we are more powerful because we're not always using our imagination in the most effective way. And that is why it is the most important relationship that you want to be cultivating in your life, because that is what is governing your reality. That's what's causing it. That is why the things in your reality are showing up, because there's something going on in consciousness, which is your imagination. There's a story running. Often we don't know what that story is. And then that story is the dominant story that we are holding in consciousness, and it's getting pushed out and reflected back. And reality is just the mirror. Reality is the reflection of light, and the light is our consciousness and the stories that we're telling. And as I said, we don't know most of the dominant stories we're telling because they are buried so deep in our subconscious, meaning, and by subconscious, it's all the one thing. Like consciousness is consciousness. There's things we're aware of and things that we're not aware of, but they still exist in consciousness. So what we want to do is to look at reality and have a relationship with reality more objectively, where we're looking at it and going, okay, what's my reality showing me about the quality of my consciousness in this particular area of my life? Rather than looking at reality as something that's outside of us that we're separate to, and we kind of bump up against it and we kind of go into bat against it and we fight it. And you know, people in relationships are showing up and we go up and we try and change them by having the conversations and being like, you need to do this, and trying to kind of manipulate reality, thinking that it is outside of us. That is just an illusion. It's a wonderful illusion. It's a very mesmerizing illusion, but it is an illusion. This is a dream. Neville will say this many times, that this is all a dream, and we have forgotten that we are the dreamer, and we dream in imagination, and we don't just dream at night. We are always dreaming, But we can actually be asleep while we're awake, meaning a lot of people are actually walking through this world not realizing that it is their imagination that is the cause of their reality. And so what they're doing is they're looking at reality and allowing reality to inform their imagination. So they're not realizing that they are the ones causing what they're seeing. They're rather seeing it and then allowing that to inform their imagination and to fill up their imagination with the images outside of us. That's why I don't watch violent movies, I don't watch the news, I look at the headlines, but otherwise I really am very conscious of the information that I am allowing into my consciousness now that I understand just how powerful your imagination is, my imagination is, and in fact that's the way I've always been. I've always been like that, so I've always been extremely sensitive, but now I understand why my imagination is creating my reality. So I want to be really careful, or not even careful, but just vigilant really about what sort of images and information I'm allowing into my imagination. So how do you create a relationship with your imagination? Well, the first step in creating that relationship is to understand the power and that it is the cause of your reality, and to start by becoming an observer to what you're holding in your imagination. So what stories are you getting lost with? Like, let's imagine you're driving down the street. You know, when you're driving or you're doing something that you've been doing for so long that it's so automatic you don't even think of you're actually doing it, you're just off with the fairies. That's where you're engaging in imagination. And I'll link back to a parking ticket that I got when I went off. I was just driving along, not even thinking about it. And I was thinking about a parking ticket, and then the next day one showed up. And then anyway, I used the law of assumption to get out of it, because I knew that whatever I create in reality, I can uncreate, and I do it all in my imagination. Both from revising the past and creating a new future. So I now use both of those techniques. So I'm in my imagination a lot, but I'm not just daydreaming. It is the untamed imagination that can get us into all sorts of trouble. So we want to learn how to tame our imagination. And that is where in the Bible, and Neville will say this, where they say the meek will inherit the earth, because the meek from the original definition of the word means tamed. So it's not actually weak as we might perceive that word to mean. Meek means tame. So when they say the meek will inherit the earth, what they're saying is the ones who have the tamed imagination will inherit the earth, because they're the ones who recognize that that's what's causing their reality, and that's how you inherit the earth. That's how you inherit the kingdom of heaven. You imagine it consciously into being. You hold the new state of consciousness that you want to experience. That's what it means to tame your imagination, your consciousness. So you're using it consciously, you're using it wisely, you're using it effectively to not only revise unfavorable events in your past to more favorable outcomes, but also to creating new realities that you might want to experience, any desires that you feel rising up within you that want to be expressed. So you want to be using your imagination to bring those into being. You hold those states of consciousness. And the way to create a new state of consciousness is through your imagination. Let me give you an example. Let's say you wanted to be wealthy. So that's a state of consciousness. Wealth is a state of consciousness, as is health, as is happiness, as is beauty, as is safety, security. Anything that you want to experience is a state of consciousness. Now, how do you get into the state of consciousness? Well, that's where you have to engage your imagination into imagining a scene that would imply that you have wealth. So you go to the end, you experience the wish already being fulfilled. You play that scene out in your imagination, because the mind, the brain can't tell the difference between what it imagines and what it's real. So you want to be using your imagination to create the scenes of the states of consciousness that you want to experience. And that is how you create new states of consciousness. That's how you create wealth. That's how you create health. That's how you create security. That's how you create success. That's how you create beauty. Whatever state you want to experience, you do it in your consciousness by using and engaging your imagination, playing out the scenes, imagining what it would be like to have what it is that you want, and then be in that scene as if you already have it. That's what when Neville says live in the wish fulfilled, meaning live in the end, live as if you already have it. And then that creates the state in consciousness. And when you hold that, when that becomes the dominant story, the dominant state of consciousness, then reality, being the reflection of consciousness, has to reflect that back. But this is where you have to engage your imagination. Your imagination is what will give you every single thing that you want. And I'm not talking about just imagining it once. Sometimes yes, but most of the time, if there's any kind of resistant or negative story that's been running for some time, we have to override those old stories with the new stories, and we do all of that in imagination, and that means we have to work with this for some time. It's the conception period between having the desire for something and the conviction of knowing that it's already done. I've also done a video of that, of how long will it take for my manifestation to show up. There is a time period between the desire and the conviction of knowing we already have it, and within that little time period, that's where we're creating the conviction, creating the knowing that we have it and that's where we're using our imagination until you absolutely know that it is done, and then you just get on with your life and you don't even think about it, or if you do think about it, you go, oh yeah, it's done, it's done. But all of this work that we are doing it in imagination. Imagine being in a loving relationship, so it's the relationship of your dreams. You want to spend time with that person, right? You want to be with that person. You want to hang out with that person. Be like that with your imagination. Love your imagination as if you would love the love of your life, because it is. It will bring you the love of your life. It will bring you great wealth. It'll bring you everything that you could possibly ever want. It all starts in your imagination. So cultivate that relationship with this incredible, phenomenal power, which is who you are. It is who you are. So love it, pay attention to it, turn towards it, give it your time, give it your attention, give it your love, and be with it every single day. So I hope this video has inspired you in some way to turn towards your beautiful, wonderful human imagination, as Neville would say. Please remember, you are the creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producer, the writer, the director, and the actor in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you and assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. This is my wish for you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and share with family and friends. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would love to have you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.